the feeling of belonging is perhaps the most important thing um, our species can. Oh my god, fucking electric scooter. Whatever. The feeling of belonging is one of the most important things for us to function normally throughout our lives. This is not something I like discovered recently. However, what triggered me to make this video was I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw this video of this guy explaining the unfairness of like the modern economic classes and how the middle class will eventually disappear and how there will only be like pretty much feudalism in some time. But that's off the point. At one point in the video, he talks about that he's not a communist because his father was like sent to the like to like prison for whatever. His grandpa fought in World War II, and he's like great grandpa during the 1860s or so was a mayor for the Liberal Party or something like that. And he was showing pictures of all of these generations, and I was thinking, I can't comprehend having that. I literally can't comprehend it because I grew up without a father, and both of my sides of the family, like past my grandparents, are pretty obscure. We don't know. I don't know much about it. There's nothing to know. On my mother's side, my grandpa died pretty young, and my grandma was adopted, so she doesn't know anything about her biological parents, and I couldn't really like find anything of value for my um, 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 mother side of the family grandpa either. All I know, he was a truck driver. They were like middle class citizens and stuff. And on my father's side, they all of them, everyone on my father's side come from like a pretty secluded village, so there's not much there to much to dig. There's nothing there. Like I'm not even sure if they had like uh, I don't know, a mayor or something or anything like that. Like there's essentially like barely any record of them, you know, beyond my grandparents on my father's side. So there's literally not much to say look at my ancestors, and that's why I've always craved throughout my life, and I only realized this much later, but what I was doing, it was like craving this feeling of belonging somewhere. I was anchoring myself to things and trying to insert myself in things. For example, for the longest time, well, not anymore, but for a very long time in my life, I was obsessed with antiquity, with my ancestors. I don't know, the Romans, the Thracians, and whatever, like other like even beyond that, like hunter gatherers and like Neolithic farmers, and like all this like everything that like composed me as the person who I am today and composed my ethnicity today. So that I could belong somewhere, like, oh, I'm them. This is what I am. I was extremely patriotic. Nothing, not, and I was really in depth. In depth. I remember when I looked more into like my country's history, I discovered that like our regional identity is more diluted now, but it used to be extremely strong up until very recently, up until like 100 years ago or so. Um, and then I started like basically not even identifying with my country anymore. I was literally identifying with my region alone, because my region had like most of its history like by itself, you know, like separated. And I just try so hard to belong somewhere, belong to a set of ideals. I don't know, and I was happy. I was actually happy. I remember I would wake up happy. I would wake up genuinely happy. Like, I remember it was summer, and I had my other buddy who was like also into history. We're not friends anymore, but we were like best friends at the time. Um, he was also into history, and we loved doing everything. Literally, every single day was special by thinking that I am who I am, that I am like all these groups of people who are fought, mixed, and so on to bring me today, like breathing and walking and like thinking and everything. Like all of those things be like created me today, or at the time. And I would remember, for example, I would love to try to make Roman recipes at home, or I would love to literally go on a walk in the forest. I would just feel good. I'd feel wow. My ancestors were doing miles of this, were like marching for miles or walking for so long, or like doing this and that. I loved doing especially stuff that like it's stupid. It's really stupid in the big picture. I've talked about so much on this channel about anthropology, and it's stupid. Uh, Looking at the big picture, but it's just the way it is. I literally felt happy, and I was thinking if I had a father and I grew up with my father, and he I don't know, maybe like he told me stories about his life. I've heard stories from my relatives and whatnot, but it's not the same thing. If told me how like things went on, how he like about like my grandfather, stuff like that, I feel like, oh, I belong to this lineage. I belong to these people that did this and that. Like, oh, I belong to these people. But I didn't. I grew up so alone. I never got along with anyone else in my family pretty much. Or they were just absent if I did get along with them. Oh yeah, I had to pause the video because some jackass started like staring at me. God, I wish I was at like a higher floor. I'm on the second floor. Whatever, some jackass started staring at me and like saying some bullshit, whatever. Um, but yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Just the feeling of belonging somewhere and to something is so crucial. We are not independent animals. We lived in communities. We need, as much as I would love to be like a hermit, like extremely isolated. I can't. I don't think I can. It's a very hard thing to do. I used to believe that, oh, all those things that like people hear, or like that I hear, like, oh, that you can't do it without losing your mind and stuff. It's true. It's extremely hard to like keep yourself together because you need to talk to people. You need to like socialize. You need to like feel like you belong somewhere. Have a group of like friends, of like relatives. That belong somewhere. Yeah, that's it.